Alrighty. We are finally done with seed corn harvest at work. Whew. 34 days or 35 days or one of the two, I lost track. For a while, the only reason I even knew which day it was because I knew that on Saturday and Sunday I could make it to work in less time because there wasn't any traffic at 4:30 in the morning. So, but we don't have any of the final numbers yet, and I'll tell you guys as soon as I know what they are. But I do know that we brought in somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.6 million shelled bushels. They don't even try converting that to ear bushels because with seed corn, the ear size ranges so much that it'd be just about impossible. So they just go by shelled bushels. And it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 trucks brought in, and we're not talking no tandem axle hopper bottoms. A lot of them are 5, 6, and 7 axle walking floors and a bunch of tandem axle and tri-axle belt floors because they won't let you run dump trailers because they had somebody get killed a few years ago trying to get or using one of them. But we're talking trucks that when they come in average anywhere between 60 and 110,000 pounds in the box, not gross vehicle weight. Gross truck weight was ranging anywhere between about 100 or between about 99,000 all the way up to about 155, 160,000. Because in the state of Michigan, we have this awesome law where if you want to haul more weight, you just throw another axle underneath the trailer. Can't do that in any other, at least can't do that in Indiana. I don't know if any other states are like that, but Michigan is the only one I know of in this area or in this region where you can get away with that, and it's freaking awesome. It's about one of the very few good things about the traffic laws in this state. So, actually got done Tuesday at 11:45. Then I stayed till 2:30 to finish out my 8-hour shift. Actually, I got 8.5 hours in because I could have left at 2 since we started at 5:30. But I figured what the heck, I'll just leave when first shift leaves because I wanted to see all the guys I hadn't seen because I'd been working somewhere else. So, and the boss was going to let us, the boss or that plant supervisor, we just call him, actually we're on first name basis with all supervisors on there. There ain't no formalities. So Barry, who's the site supervisor over there, was going to let us leave as soon as we were done dumping trucks, and some people did, but I just elected to stay because it was only going to be another 2.5 hours. So it's no big freaking deal. Figured I was staying there for 15 hours a day for 30 or for 34 days before that. I can hold on for 2.5 hours, finish out an 8-hour day just as easy. So, anyway, it is currently raining right now. It's just Thursday because I took today and tomorrow off to finish getting ready. I was hoping that the weather was going to be decent. Well, I didn't get lucky with that. I thought I was going to make it because last night they had our rain chances knocked down to 25%, and then this morning I wake up, check the weather, it's 75%. And there's a big old band coming, tracking up through Illinois. The main part of it's going over Chicago. We're just catching the east fringe of it, but it's tracking northeast, so it's pretty much going to hang with us the whole day. Or most of the day anyway, which is kind of a bummer. I was checking moistures last night. Actually, I checked moistures Tuesday and last night, and I got corn that's around this field back behind the house was averaging a 19% average on 6 tests. I didn't check the one out on the highway yesterday. I checked it Tuesday when I got home from work, and it was 18.5% average on 4 tests. And so I'm probably going to hold off at least another weekend on corn because I'm in no hurry to get it done and might as well get it as dry as I can to avoid getting a dock at the elevator since it ain't worth shit to begin with. Also make as much money off of it as I can. So beans, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure, because we got rain. We had 2 rain showers. One that lasted about 5 minutes in the morning. Another one lasted about 5 minutes yesterday afternoon. And so I was checking beans yesterday, and they were still kind of doughy. But I'm pretty sure it was because of that rain we got, because soybeans are like a sponge. It doesn't take a whole lot of moisture, and they'll suck it right back up and get soft again. I got a feeling if it hadn't been for that rain, they might have been right in the ballpark. So, it was supposed to, this is the only day of rain they got forecasted through Monday. So, if we get sun tomorrow, which we're supposed to, we get sun Saturday, which we're supposed to, although it's supposed to be a little on the cooler side. It's only supposed to get up. Tomorrow they're calling low 70s, and Saturday they're calling high 60s. So temperature-wise, it ain't going to help us much, but if we get sun and breeze, it might dry beans out enough I can start running or taking beans Sunday. And possibly Monday morning, because in the next rotation I go in on second shift, so I don't have to be back into work till Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And I'm working 2 to 10 until the end of October, and then we switch shifts again, and it's just a big rotation. So I don't know where I'll end up again. I don't know if I go from second to third, or and they just go second, third, first, second, third, first, second, third, first, or if they have some sort of special rotation they use. But yeah. Where was I going with that? So anyway, if the weather cooperates, I may even be able to cut beans Monday morning before I go into work, if the dew burns off in time. We haven't been getting real heavy dews lately, but weather gets cold, or weather cools off again, we might start getting them. Well, we really need a good hard killing frost, but I don't think we're going to get that anytime soon. So anyway, on to what this video is actually about. I'm going to today at least get the wheel weights put on the 1950T. I'm hoping to get the duals put on this in the 1955, but it all depends on what that shit decides to do. So I already got them dug out. I already got the weights dug out. They were on a skid all the way back there. Actually need to find a couple more, or get a couple more sets of wheel weights before the end of fall, so I can get my 19 all set up when I go put new tires on it. Cause I'm taking not putting chloride back in, and I'm putting 3 sets of wheel weights on it, so I have 5 sets total. Cause right now it's got 2 sets on the inside of the wheels, and this one right now has one set on the inside of the wheels. So anyway, oh hey, it might have stopped raining for a minute. But hard part's been I just shuffle some equipment around, and I stuffed some stuff over on the other side of the barn, so I didn't have anything sitting outside in the rain while I was working on this. So anyway, we'll get this thing shuffled out where I can get to it. I miss the smell of diesel fuel. I haven't even started one of these things in 6 weeks. Missed a little bit. Anyway, first thing I gotta figure out here is how long of a piece of threaded rod I need. I bought 12-foot chunk. I was only gonna buy like a 6-foot chunk, but I went to I get all that stuff through one of the guys' dad, or one of the suppliers Dad uses. I drive right past their store on the way home from work. And like, well, what's the shortest chunk you got? And he said, well, I asked, what all sizes do you have? And he says, we got it in 3 foot, 12 foot. And I was like, how much is 12 foot? He said, $12. Sold. So, got 3 inches there. And I need 2 inches to get through 2.5 inches roughly to get through 2 wheel weights. So 5, add an inch, 6, 7.5, 8. We're going to put the, we'll just cut 4 chunks of foot line. That ought to be plenty. That'll give me any wiggle room if I want to add more weights or anything like that. It ain't like I don't have enough threaded rod. I did get a little bit of disappointment. When I went to walk that field out on the highway, because I hadn't seen any of my fields in, well, I'd only seen the one on the highway, the 2 bean fields I got done, or 3 bean fields I got down the road here, and then the one behind the house. That's the only fields I've seen since we started seed corn harvest, because I was going to work leaving here for work at 4:45 in the morning. Or no, 20 to 5, because I'd leave at 10 or 4:40. And I wasn't getting back until like, the latest I got back was 10 o'clock back to the house. So, this is a little inconvenient. So I didn't get to see hardly anything in the daylight until yesterday. So I went to walk that field on the highway, and for the first time since harvest started. Turns out it's got a bunch of wind damage right in the center of it. So the corn that's there looks good. Unfortunately, I'd say I lost the better part of half an acre due to wind damage, and it's only a 2-acre field, so that's quite a chunk. But what can you do? And I think this field back behind the house might make up for it, because this is the one that got crusted over real bad. So it's got a real low population. But the ears that are out there, you can probably use for baseball bats. They're freaking huge. And it's throughout even the The back on the hill, all the way out in the back, is always the worst spot in the field because it's basically a big clay knob. I'm hoping that if I get a chance to run a ripper over it, the way the weather's looking, if it keeps raining like this, I ain't gonna be able to get any tillage done this fall. But even back there on that hill, the corn's only about 7.5, 8 foot tall, which is normal for back there. But the ears on it are just as big as the stuff down here right behind the house on the good ground. So I'm really impressed with that. And this is a new hybrid for me this year, so. And the beans are doing pretty damn good as well. With soybeans, a tall plant does not equate to good yield, because generally that means the plant put more energy into vegetative growth than it did into reproductive growth, which is not really what you want. You want more energy into reproductive growth, much energy into vegetative growth. Which is partly why I want to switch to row beans, because row beans generally get a little bit more bushy. They stay a little shorter, and the bushier the bean, the more nodes it has. The more nodes it has, the more pods it's going to have, because generally there's a pod at every node. Well, drilled beans normally get really tall. One main stalk, maybe a couple branches down towards the bottom, and pods along the main stem, but generally not a lot of them. So where you try to I don't know what I'm doing there. Where you get your yield in drill beans is higher population. But just from what I've seen, for drill beans, these bad boys are loaded with pods. So, kind of curious to see how they do, especially since they were only 35 bucks a bag beans. Which actually they weren't bad beans. It's just the only reason they're so cheap was because they're still Roundup Ready 1s, and they were just trying to get rid of them because Roundup Ready 2 came out for this season. Or for this last, I guess I'll call it this last season. So, I don't know. Time will tell. So, this thing put together. Normally I don't even bother nutting the rods into the center, but when you're only doing it with one person, it makes life a whole lot easier. And this should put roughly 600 pounds on the ass end of this tractor, so should make a pretty big difference. And we'll have a teaching point here real quick. Well, not really a teaching point, more of a history lesson. So there was 4 or 5, I can't remember, different versions of Oliver wheel weights. This one would be for the supers and 3 digits. It's got 2 recessed holes and 2 slotted holes. This one would actually be for the 50 series, or the double aughts in the 50 series. This would actually be in the early double aughts too, but this one's got the 2 recessed holes, 2 slotted holes, and the 4 recessed holes on the outside. We've actually got 2 more different versions of the wheel weights back there, but I'd have to dig the pile out again, and I don't want to do that. I already done it once. I've got 2 of these and 2 of those dug out, so I'll put, these ones are kind of nasty looking, so I'll stick them on the inside. Got it. Guess I didn't really need quite a foot, but oh well. Actually, it might be long enough. I can use them on my 1955 when I go to put more wheel weights on that thing. I can just reuse the threaded rod instead of wasting too much of it. Interesting part I didn't think about is going to be tightening this nut up. Okay. Well, if you ever run into a situation like that, you just make yourself a super deep well socket. It's still a little toasty. Almost like I might actually kind of half-ass know what I might be doing. Sort of, kind of. Not really. Alright, one side down, one to go. Alright. Ain't a little bit of iron back here. She looks a little tougher. So, dang it, I flipped them back lights on again. It looks like we might have a little bit of a dry spell here, so I guess I'll run up and get the duals put on it. Okay. Stuff's changed since I did the last video. Last time you saw that corn, it was still green. Cool as clamp-on duals make a tractor look. I really can't wait till this thing's got regular axle duals on it. Whew. Just trying to wrestle these bastards around. Clamp-on dual rims aren't any heavier than regular dual rims, but they're a lot more awkward to handle because more of the weight's on the back side because of that ring. It makes wrestling them around a little bit of a trick. Especially with one person. Let's see if we can set you guys up here, baby. Need to make a socket for these just like I made for the wheel weights just now, but I don't have an 1/8" socket I'm willing to sacrifice like I did a 15/16. Need to find a cheap ass Harbor Freight one or a flea market find at a show or something. Right now the only snap-on, or the only sockets I got that are 1/8" are a snap-on and a brand new Craftsman. And the snap-on's one of the good ones from like the 60s or 70s, so I'm really not willing to chop that one up. Alrighty, well there she is again in all her dualed up glory, with some duals that actually have some tread on them this time. So just in time too, it feels like we got another storm coming in. Getting awful dark off to the west and it's starting to darken up to the south, so naturally the sun had to decide to come out right as I was starting to get that second dual on, and holy shit did it get hot. Almost couldn't breathe, the humidity came up so quick. Figure out how to stuff this thing back in the barn with the duals on it. make it fit though. Well, that all actually went together better than I thought it would. So, anyway, I think I'm going to hold off on putting the duals on the 55 for today because there's one more small thing I got to fix on the 3-point on this thing. And I need to be able to get it up in the garage to do it, and it ain't going to go through a 10-foot door with duals on it. So, this arm right here needs built back up. So, it's a victim of using them cheap-ass Tractor Supply hitch balls that are about as hard as a stick of butter. I had one of them pop out while I was chisel plowing, and I didn't see it, and I ran it with just the ball popped off and the hitch slid over onto the pin, so it was pulling right here, and it gouged or peened the concave over that cradles the hitch ball, and now the balls won't stay in there, so we got to weld. Dad got some hard surfacing rod for the TIG welder specifically for building stuff up like this, so we're going to build that back up, and then it'll be all ready to go. Would have had it done before, but it took Dad forever. He went to 2 or 3 different welding supply shops before he found a guy that actually knew what the hell he was looking for. He said he was surprised how many guys that worked at weld shops that didn't know what kind of rod he needed and what he was doing with it, so it took him a little while, but he finally found a guy, and he finally found a box of rod that would work. So I got to get that done, and I'm not going to do it today because just my luck, I'll get everything drug out, start working on it, and it'll start raining again. But tomorrow I'm going to drag the corn head down here, check the oil in the gearboxes and grease it, and it should be ready to go. There's going to be one minor change in plans this fall. I was originally planning on spreading lime, but the way the weather's turning out to be, and with time constraints, and the possibility of being on 3rd shift at some point this fall, I think I'm going to hold off and do a spring application, because before I spread any lime, I really want to get all new soil tests pulled, so I'm going off of fresh data. And I won't have time, well, I'll have time to pull soil tests this fall, but if I get a spell that's dry enough to work around, I can't be sitting around waiting for them soil tests to come back and then get my lime applications calculated and then get the lime spread and then get the ground worked. I just need, if it gets dry enough, I just need to be able to slam in and work the ground. So I'm either going to work it one of 2 ways. I'm going to either do a early spring application, or with lime, there's guys that do it. You can wait till early winter before we get a bunch of snow, but after the ground is froze and you can get across it. You can spread lime in the winter too, since lime isn't like fertilizer. It doesn't volatilize, it really doesn't wash, or it really doesn't run off. So normally fall application's better because it has time to act in the soil, and you get almost full benefits of it by spring, because lime is a really slow acting, or it takes time for lime to act on the soil and actually get the pH changed. So if you apply it in the spring, you'll get a slight benefit from it, but you won't get full benefits of it till the next season. So, but it is what it is. I'm definitely going to get it spread before I start, or before next spring. It'll just depend on whether I do it late or early winter or early spring. we'll just have to see how things work out. So anyway, just a simple video to get back into the swing of things, and tomorrow we'll get the corn head down here and start working on it. So I guess this does it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one.